Introducing my new single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, but just the alto 2 part. Da-dun, 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 aww. Hey guys, John here. My channel is all about personal finance and financial independence. For those of you who have been keeping track with my FIRE journey over the past year, you will know that I started the year off with only a 3-month emergency fund. Actually, in September of 2019, I had negative $300 in my checking account, and I just bought this condo, but that meant that I had tons of debt. And in January of 2020, I started this year off with over $4,000 in credit card debt. But I am so proud to say that just by following the philosophies of the FIRE community, that is Financial Independence Retire Early, I was able to grow my assets by over 100K in the span of 1 year. This includes my retirement, my emergency fund, my taxable brokerages, my whole life insurance policy value, and just as a disclaimer, this is not including my home equity that I've gained over the past year, and it does not include the value of my car. So right now I'm showing you a graph from mint.com that is basically showing you how my assets have grown over time. The graph starts at December 2019, and you can see here that I had $25,000 to my name. This includes my emergency fund and all of my retirement accounts. It really honestly wasn't that much. But by being disciplined and doing the same thing every month, you could see a gradual rise over the course of a year. And it's amazing how your money can grow if you just let compound interest do its thing. Right now, I'm ending at $113,000, and that doesn't even include the 2 paychecks that I'm going to have before the end of this year. I am on track to grow my assets by over 100K just in 1 year. So what are the steps that I did in order to grow my net worth by 100K in 1 year? The first thing I did was budget. Honestly, it sounds really boring, really traditional, but that's what you have to do. Gaining wealth isn't supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be robotic. It's supposed to be automatic. And most importantly, it's supposed to be consistent. So the first thing I did was budget. I knew how much money was coming in every month and how much money was leaving my pocket every month. The second thing that I did was I made a plan. I made a plan to save at least 50% of my after-tax income every paycheck. The third thing that I did was automate. I paid myself first, and that is key. Before spending on frivolous stuff and before even paying my bills, I made sure that I automatically put a set percentage of my income into my 401k through my employer, and that I put the same amount of money every week into my taxable brokerage accounts. And another thing that I did to automate saving was I used my credit card rewards, and even though it's only a few bucks here and there, the important thing to note is that it was automatic. Everything that I did this year was automated. And finally, the fourth thing that I did in order to gain over 100K in assets this year was to compound. I let my assets grow in the market. That is key. Your money is not going to grow if you just stash it away in a savings account in a bank. You have to let your money work for you. So yeah, guys, I was able to grow my assets by over 100K this year, and I am not a doctor. I am a physician assistant. I don't make a doctor's salary. I don't make a lawyer's salary. I'm not a CEO. I'm a very humble person who is very disciplined, and that is key. The things that I did not do in order to achieve this were I did not try to time the market. Well, I will admit that when March and April came around and I saw the market dip, I was kind of like following the same boat as everyone else, trying to pick out stocks, trying to see which grew. And honestly, that did not work for me. It made me anxious. It made me not consistent. It made me veer off my plan of investing. I am not a day trader, I am an investor. Another thing I didn't do was risky investments. I didn't try to sell options. I didn't try to invest in penny stocks. I stuck with diversified ETFs, mutual funds, you name it. The big wins this year were that, one, I was able to refinance my home at 2.99% interest rate for 30 years. I consider this a win because I eventually want to turn this 1-bedroom condo into a rental from which I can cash flow from. Another thing that I did this year was I was able to buy my first car. I gave my dad his car back and I bought my car with 0 money down and 0% interest rate for the life of the entire loan. I was super excited about that. And a third win, even though it's smaller, is I saved over $600 at CVS this year because that's just the kind of person I am. I'm actually in the 1% of couponers in the state of New Jersey, which is something that is both embarrassing and something that I'm also proud of at the same time. And I feel like this video wouldn't be complete if I didn't talk about my big losses this year. This year, I was not able to max out my Roth IRA for 2019 simply because I was going to max it out and then the market dipped and there was so much uncertainty around March. So I really just decided to take that money and put it in my emergency fund at the time. And another big loss was, like I mentioned earlier, in March and April, I was trying to time the market. But quickly, I managed to get myself back on track and just be slow and steady and methodical. And that was how I was able to gain over 100K in assets this year. So yeah, guys, I'm on track to FIRE in 10 years if I just keep this up. And that's really exciting. And it just goes to show that you have to be disciplined, but as long as you're disciplined and consistent, you are going to see results. So don't get discouraged on the path to FIRE because it's there, guys. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this financial journey with me. Having a community that also thinks the same way that I do is really encouraging, and it really helps me stay on track to achieve my own financial goals. And I hope that this channel can do the same for you. Stay tuned for my next video where I talk about all of the stuff that I want to do for 2021. Bye, guys.